Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. Well. Is it busy or what? Let's see what we got here. Bruce Pollard, welcome to Politics Done Right. He says, I am looking at our bills, and there is one to require mail-in ballots be electronic. Sounds like a way of limiting mail-in. Oh, you see it. Bridge MCP, welcome aboard. E2247, welcome aboard. Who else is in the house? Para ver. AVQ, Marco Ratnan is in the house. He says, beautiful day, just got home. How's it going? It's going great. You know that thing? It's going great. Of course, we know Santos has been charged with fraud, theft, and lying to Congress. He's been indicted on 13 counts. My God. If I were Santos, George Santos, I would say, wait a minute. I only committed 13 big bad things. Whatever happened to Trump? Trump defrauded people for his water company, his meat company, his airline, all these forms of defrauding. And I am the one that's going to be indicted this quickly. What about Trump? This guy is the largest crook on the planet, and he hasn't been indicted yet. Oh, my God. Bridge MCP says, Egberto, something to look at, Texas guns and stats. Is it ready for me to display on the screen? Okay. Texas does have a lot of mass shootings. That's what Bridge has just put onto the screen. Let's see if I can get that there. I think I can. And in fact, I did. There we go. Since 1996, there have been 34 mass shootings in Texas. This means Texas, the number 2 state for mass shooting, following California, which has a hell of a lot more people. Mass shootings have accelerated in recent years, 14 Texas mass shootings in the past 10 years. However, it's hard to know if this is a faster rate than the rest of the country. Statistical precision is tough given the limited number of events. After adjusting for population, Texas ranks number 14, Alaska number 1, California is number 12. Texas mass shootings are very deadly. 4 of the 10 most deadly mass shootings have occurred in Texas. Yep, it's horrendous. Anyhow, folks, how are all our peeps doing today? Today, I just something came over me. I went to, I did the show at KPFT, and I did a piece on a young lady. Her name is Miss Hanson. I can never remember her father gives me the name several times, and I always forget the name. But her name is Madeline Hanson, also known as Lane Hanson. I saw this young lady at the Democratic Club. How good she was knowing her subject and being politically engaged. I could not have been more impressed with the young woman, and including the answer session, which I recorded, but I didn't put up on the internet, but including the recording session, I thought she was so good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start out the program today by playing her, because I think she did that great of a job. And I want that to be something that we see other 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds do. Check this out, and we'll take it on the other side.
Comply throughout this entire process. I have no desire not to comply at this point.
That was the wrong video. I have it in the wrong order. Let's change that order and put the correct video on. Egberto, what's wrong with you? Here we go. The president of the Humble area Democrat, John Cotter, asked me to visit with them to broadcast their main program. They invited Dr. Nancy Beck Young to discuss the similarity of the Jan 6 and the occurrences in 1940. In other words, the insurrection on the 6th looked like 1940 Germany. Nancy Beck Young, the chair of the Department of History and associate director of the UH Center, University of Houston Center for Public History, was selected as a political expert featured in several episodes of Rachel Maddow's new podcast, Ultra. After the professor spoke, John said he received an email from a young student who wanted to speak to the group. 15-year-old Miss Hansen walked to the front of the room and spoke about her trans friends and the pain and suffering the Republican Party policies are causing them. What made me happy about this speech, if there was something to make you happy about this speech, was the age of Miss Hansen. She chose to engage at an early age. She knows her subject. My only question to her was, how can we clone you? How can we clone her? If we can, there is still hope for our democracy. It is her generation that will be making the decision. And knowing that our Gen Zs are coming of age and taking no prisoners, that is kind of refreshing. You know, it's refreshing to see a lot of these younger kids engaging like never before. And I sat there and I listened to her and I listened to her and I listened to her and I said, wow, that is what we want. Anyhow, I want you to listen to this and then we'll take it on the other side.
I got an email the other day. Very nice email from a young lady. She's a freshman at Atascocita High School. Wow. And she asked to come and talk to everybody here today.
All right.
She's going to talk a little bit about what's going on at the Texas legislature and the awful bills that are affecting the trans community. So I want to introduce Lady Hansen. She's a freshman at Atascocita.
Hi. So, as you may have heard, last week, the Democrats stopped the bill to prohibit trans youth from getting, gender-affirming care and hormones and all of that. But, we've seen it before, Republicans are going to keep pushing, that bill over and over and over again until they find a way to just, hurt and break people down even more. So, I thought, it would be important to see, not just, older people, but also, people that this is actually affecting. A bunch of my friends, one of my closest friends, his name is Aaron, he's the sweetest guy ever. He's trans, and he's on hormones right now, and if the bill gets passed that they'll slowly start weaning him off, what's that going to do to him? Because 56% of trans youth have attempted suicide. 86% of trans youth have had suicidal ideation, and it's even higher in states that are actively trying to ban activities and things that would help transgender youth feel more comfortable in themselves. In Texas, it's almost 90% for people who have felt suicidal ideation, and then it's 60% for actually attempting suicide. And that's just, they claim to want to protect kids from the grooming that's going on, and then they just want kids to kill themselves. And that's not good. A study from Stanford University in 2015 discovered that 40% of all trans people who had started hormones and puberty blockers in their adolescence, they had less risk for suicide, substance abuse, mental health issues in general than people who had to start later in life. So if they really want to protect kids, as they're saying, and their whole idea that you can't get turned trans because people will support you. Teachers will call you by your preferred name and use your preferred pronouns. The fact that they think that is going to turn kids trans and make them mutilate themselves is not true at all. You can't even get sexist reassignation surgery until you are 18. And most people have a sense of their gender identity by age 2. So it's not people just wake up one day and they're oh, guess what? My teacher supports trans people, so that means I'm trans. That's not at all what happens. And so the fact that people think that you can get groomed into thinking that you're one way or another, that's absolutely not true. You can't, it's just stupid. And I just, my boyfriend of almost 5 months, we were best friends before that, he he's trans too. His therapist has said multiple times that his mental health would be so much better if he was able to start hormones. But because of these laws, he might not be able to until he's 18, which that's almost 3 years. And so who knows what could happen in 3 years. People who are like struggling with their mental health because they're not able to truly be themselves, they could hurt themselves within those 3 years. My friends could die. My boyfriend could die because people don't seem to care. Because it's all protect kids until it's a kid of color, it's a trans kid, it's a queer kid. Nobody cares unless they're a way for them to fit their ideology, and they're just mess up view of the world.
I tell you, I was there in person as she was giving this talk, and she took a lot of questions and answers. She had a question and answer session, and people who just didn't understand or didn't know things learned a lot from this young woman, 15 years old. Like I said, I was just impressed that she could call bill numbers and talk about calling senators. And today, where many adults don't take the political responsibility to ensure that Austin works well, that DC works well. Just seeing some of these younger people in high school, in junior high school, do the work, for me, it was like saying, wow, I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be okay. In this case, it's a trans issue. I've ran up against 15 and 16-year-olds talking about the debt and all these about student debt, I'm so very impressed with some of the younger folks who are now taking that position of, you know what? You guys hadn't done all that well after all. Maybe it's time for us to really, really start engaging. And just watching these kids engage, for me, was it was a blessing to me. Absolutely so. Absolutely so. Anyway, welcome aboard, Eric Hayes. Welcome aboard, Yvette Avery Herod. Welcome aboard, May Wood. Welcome aboard, Carl Cox, Lee Grant. Did I miss Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain? Did I miss anybody? If I missed you, drop a line in again, and you know I'll be more than happy to call you out, because I like to call out my peeps. Anyway, let's see. I wanted to answer E2247. Welcome aboard. E2247 says, tell us about the Texas state rep in trouble. Okay, E2247. Given that you've asked, Brian Slayton, Republican of Royce City, on the House floor at the Capitol, April 18. This guy actually, he resigned before they actually had the vote to expel him. I think the vote to expel him was yesterday. Says the Texas House unanimously voted to expel Brian Slayton on Tuesday, one day after the Royce City Republican submitted his resignation after an internal investigation determined that he had sex with a 19-year-old aide after getting her drunk. Darn rapist is what somebody should call him. That is that. How do you get a kid drunk? And oh my God, that's shameful. After a solemn, sometimes angry and tearful recounting of Slayton's graphic and offensive behavior, the House voted 147-0 for expulsion, making Slayton the first member of the Texas legislature to be removed from office since 1927. This party of moral values. We believe in the sanctity of life, yet we kill our residents by not, our constituents by not allowing the Medicare expansion to the Affordable Care. We believe in the sanctity of life, though we allow women who have ectopic pregnancies to die because they can't go ahead and get an abortion unless they're septic. We believe in the sanctity of life, and we are moral. Yet you take advantage of young kids, and this is not the only one. If you take a look at the Baptist convention here in around the country, the amount of pedophiles that they're hiding, and then they have the nerve to attempt to assign the pedophilia mantra to progressives, when in fact it's the conservatives under the church system that is full loaded with pedophilia, not only the pastors and assistant pastors, but the people who go in. So let's be clear here, folks. Remember, I always talk about conservative politicians and projection. Conservative politicians and projection. Everything that they deem is wrong with progressives, everything that they deem is wrong with liberals, and basically are always something that they're projecting about. Something they are projecting about. So yes, so long to this Congressman Brian Slayton. So long. Your services are no longer required. You're nothing but an abuser of children. You're nothing but you can get where we're going right there. Anyhow, continuing with the program. Let's see. Let me go up to the thing here and see. Yvette Avery Harrod says, afternoon, PDR posse. Lee Grant says from the New York Times, estimated number of transgender people was small, about 1.6 million, 13 and up, or about 0.6% of the population. Trans identification in recent years has become political dynamite, driven in part by the rise in minors seeking medical treatment. Oh, so now that we have medical treatment, there is a problem? Oh, I don't know. Okay. Bridge MCP says Congressman Comer has a history of playing fast and loose with the facts and spreading baseless innuendo while refusing to conduct his so-called investigations and with legitimacy, said Ian Sams, White House spokesperson for oversight and investigations. He has hidden information from the public to selectively leak and promote his own hand-picked narratives as part of his overall effort to lob personal attacks at the president and his family. Abe Lowell, an attorney for Hunter Biden, said Republicans still have nothing to show for probes into his client and his business activities in the last 5 years. Lowell said Republicans have fueled conspiracy theories, but found no evidence of wrongdoing. Of course not. All right, so I answered that E2247. Good afternoon, Maywood. Yvette Avery Howard said, people don't realize the struggle. Thankful to see her speaking her truth. It is so important, and we've learned that over the years. You know, we've learned that the chains that bad folks have put onto us for a long time to do exactly what chains do. Hold people back and much more. Eric Hayes says, Austin and DC are paradise to liberals and leftists. I don't have anything against liberals and leftists, so that's not an insult for me. That is saying maybe I need to move to Austin or DC. Actually, I love Austin. I hate DC. I lived in DC 9 months with my daughter, taking care of my daughter. Didn't like DC. It's a very confining city, in my opinion. All right, British MCP says, people read and talk about it, but don't know what it's like. I hear you, Bridge, and I had to learn that myself. I had to educate myself. I had to do all those things personally. And that's what I have another piece where I try to talk to people about that. We have to educate ourselves. All right, let's see. I donate to Colin Zachary Allred. All right, Colin Allred. TX32 challenging Senator Cruz. That is good. Please support Colin. I think he's going to get the support. I have a piece that I did on him, and I'm trying to get an interview. I don't know if they're going to want to interview with Politics Done Right but I'll see. We'll try to get him on Politics Done Right. Eric Hayes says Egberto was thrown out, which was the right thing to do, and why not give kudos to that correct decision instead of party bashing? Because it's important. It is important for us to talk about the projection. The Republican Party projects a lot. And this is an example. The reason this guy did what he did is because he thought he could get away with it based on who his party is. All right, let's see. Michael Rudnin, I don't see that. Okay, Carl Cox says Schiff is not an embarrassment. The GOP is an embarrassment. Waste money on inaccurate hearings. GOP uses sham hearings to keep from discussing the people's business. Bridge says, Egberto, it's called transference. They put out on to others what they are actually doing. I agree wholeheartedly, my dear Bridge MCP. We also have E2247. What's up with the TX guy shooting the 14-year-old girl playing hide and seek? You know, that ran across my screen. I was to go look at that and didn't. It just shows you how normalized, and it can even affect me. The normalization of just people getting shot. Sad. I'm ashamed of myself that I didn't look at that one. E2247. I'll look it up on the break. Let's see what it says. Eric Hayes says Comer provides bank records, so that is proof enough. If they had any proof, there would be indictments. Again, there's no proof of anything. I love the way you put out in the windows there, and when it's time to get legal, you can't. Don't you get tired of the Republicans snowing you or putting you into a fizzy and a tizzy, and then after you're into a tizzy, nothing comes of it? Aren't you tired of being gullible? But he says they still haven't followed the bank records, talking out of their arse. Again, something happens to a GOP person and the right screams, "Dem crap, own it." Yep, that's true. That's true, girl. That's true. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and put that on the screen from Bridge MCP. It says something being, whoops, wrong one. That goes on this screen. There we go. That goes like that. And it says something being your fault, blaming Democrats. You know, I saw a TikTok last night, and, you know, maybe let's see if I can find it, because I think you guys are going to love this TikTok. If I think I saved it. The only thing that I have to be able to do.
Are we going to actually have a challenge here?
Oh, I'm trying not. Joe, be quiet.
Are we going to actually have a challenge here?
All right.
I'm trying not to laugh, Joe.
I want to.
Are we going to actually have a challenge here?
Oh, I'm trying not to laugh, Joe. I really think that.
Let me see if I can get this for you, because you guys are going to love this one. You guys are simply going to love this one. You know, when it comes to blaming the Democrats, right? Let's see if I can get this on the screen for you. Check it out here. There we go. Come on.
First day of open carry, and I'm pumped. It's good guys with guns are gonna keep this country safe and free. Might even buy this CD to celebrate.
Y'all take a Cocoa Chino, extra brownies, some whipped cream.
Excuse me.
Nutmeg.
Did you know there was a line back here?
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I thought you were still shopping.
You wanna try that again, son?
As a matter of fact, I do.
Put the gun down, no one gets hurt. Whoa, I'm the good guy. In this scenario, I'm the brave vigilante protecting the rule of law.
And I'm the proud patriot standing his ground.
I'm 99% sure that I'm the good guy.
I'm 99.9% sure that I am currently the good guy right here in this situation.
Okay, just put your hands up.
Don't you point that thing at me. Don't you know a good guy when you see one?
I am the good guy.
No, I'm definitely the good guy. I'm the noble worker protecting everyone in this establishment.
Susie, tell mommy your daddy's about to be a hero.
Drop your weapons!
I'm the armed victim / concerned citizen / neighborhood watch extraordinaire, saving the day.
I don't know who you're saving yourself from, son. I'm the good guy.
Bull honky, I'm the good guy.
I'm a good guy too.
All right, I'm taking charge of this situation on the floor now. Drop or I shoot.
Shoot who?
The bad guys. Who are the bad guys?
You all seem pretty terrible.
I am the good Samaritan here to lend a helping hand.
Freeze!
Now I need to know which one of y'all are good guys. The good guys, raise your hand!
Right. I see what's going on here.
You come with me.
I'm the only one that ain't got a gun.
Are you resisting arrest?
Y'all folks have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Came out of nowhere. Didn't even see him over there.
That about got real hairy.
Closer than 2 cockroaches on a bacon bit.
Oh, good Lord.
Finger check. Good?
Yeah.
All right?
Okay.
This guy got hit.
Ah, shit. I'm sorry about that, kid. What? That's the price of freedom.
Price of freedom.
Speaking of freedom, I am famished.
You fucking shot me. Go. Big grandma bus. Tell you what.
Now, Guys, when I saw that one on TikTok, I couldn't help. I mean, I could not help but cracking my you-know-what up. And it looks like Ruddin brought me a similar one here. Let's see what it says here. Okay, can we at least agree that we all feel safer? That is how, I mean, that is how we feel. That is how we feel. Let me tell you that. Bridge wants a link to that. Let me go ahead and pull that link up for you, Bridge. I definitely am going to put that link. I mean, I think when I saw that the very first time, it was like, my God, there is something just so, what's the word? Okay, let me go ahead and quit that and get the link for you. I want to get the link, share link, get the link, get the link, get the link. All right, I don't want the embed code. I want the link for Bridge. Share the link to tell it. I don't want to share the link. I just want to get a copy of the link. I'm doing it right now for you, Bridge. We're going to have it for you in a second. Share in an email. That should be good enough because it's going to put the link in there. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and say, you guys, if you want the link to that one, it's right there. All right. Checking in is Paul Fleming. How you doing, Paul? Tom C. is in the house as well. Tom says, the GOP party that believes in the sanctity of life won't do anything to prevent slaughter of innocent fathers, mothers, children by neo-Nazis with weapons of war. Slippery slope filled with blood. So true, so true, so true. Continuing, I have here, Daniel Ledo says, so according to Egberto, a 15 is a woman, but a 19-year-old is a kid. Propagandist. Oh, my God. I don't even know why I read that one, Daniel Ledo, because I don't know what you're trying to say there. All right, Egberto, he has thrown out which was the right thing to do. Yes, he was the right thing to do. Okay, we also have from, let's see what else we have here. I'm going down the list of things that you guys have said. Lee Grant says, good news for free speech. Tucker is back on Twitter. I hope you don't believe Twitter, what Tucker says on Twitter. The only reason Tucker made it back on Twitter is because the guy who owns Twitter now is just going ahead and give that big finger. What's his name? Twitter, the owner of Twitter. ¿Cómo se llama el tipo ese? What's wrong with my mind? I can't remember his name right now, but you guys know who I'm talking about. All right. Who else? What else we got here? Bridge MCP says, oh my God, this is funny and sad. Yeah, it's funny and sad because while a lot of these guys feel okay to have guns, you know, there are some of us, as soon as they see us with guns, we are a threat. And this threat comes with your life. And you can either say, well, I'm going to be able to do what everybody else does. And you have the gun too. When you're dead, you're dead. When you're dead, you're dead. Musk, that's who I'm talking about. Musk, Elon Musk. Yeah. All right. What we got here? White or right-wing massacring our kids? Why don't Biden sign about $2 million outlawing these? I think so. All right, but he says, Egberto Willis, please put that link in. I did. Tom C., I read that one already. Eric Hayes says, return on investment. The cost of drilling for shale oil is dropping for the first time in about 2 years as demand for equipment and workers wavers. Price for key oil field. I don't know why we would even want to go ahead and destroy the crust of the earth to get shale when we can just throw solar and many other things up there. It makes no sense to me. Eric Hayes says, Egberto, you must pay attention as Twitter will remind you that everyone has a voice. I agree. I mean, look, let me tell you, you know why I don't give Lee Grant too much of a hard time? As Lee Grant is there saying, I want Tucker to have his free speech on Twitter, he's also here every day supporting free speech on the internet. He's consistent. But damn it, I hope you don't believe what he's saying, Mr. Don't believe what he's saying, okay? Don't believe what he's saying. All right. Let's see where I'm at now. All right, let's see. We got Egberto, you must pay attention. Paul Fleming says, when Tucker goes live, I'll walk away from the app. Blue ski for me. Don't worry, I'll have to watch it for you and let you know the crap that he talks about. And Lee Grant will be watching it for you as well, I'm pretty sure. Eric K says, Egberto, you want to rip apart via strip mining for cobalt? Mining, but not shale. Makes sense. Well, you know, when you're stripping away for coal or when you're stripping away for shale, there are two destructions that occur in there. The crust destruction plus what you're throwing up into the air. There you go. So I decided not to go with full destruction. If Musk wants him, put him on a rocket. I know he should. Paul Fleming says, yes, everyone has a voice, but I don't have to listen or support where it comes from. You got that right, brother. You have that right. Anyhow, after he was indicted, guess who gave a press conference? Yes, it was George Santos. Check it out. We'll take it on the other side because this is what I just thought it was amazing. Check it out.
Entire process. I have no desire not to comply at this point. They've been gracious in there. Now I'm going to have to go and fight to defend myself. The reality is it's a witch hunt because it makes no sense that in 4 months, 5 months, I'm indicted. You have Joe Biden's entire family receiving deposits from nine family members receiving money from foreign destinations into their bank accounts. It's been years of exposing. A lot of you here have reported on them, and yet no investigation is launched into them. I'm going to fight. I'm getting back to that. I'm going to fight my battle. I'm going to deliver. I'm going to fight the witch hunt. I'm going to take care of clearing my name, and I look forward to doing
Congressman,
that.
Did you take
Hold on.
What do you say to that?
I would like the opportunity for some of you guys to ask some questions in an orderly fashion, and we'll start right here. Go ahead, Rachel.
Why would you apply for unemployment benefits when you had a job making $120,000 a year?
Rachel, this is part of my defense. This is inaccurate information, and I will get to clear my name on this during the pandemic. It wasn't very clear. I don't understand where the government's getting their information, but I will present my facts.
Prosecutors say that you got over $20,000 in unemployment benefits, sir. How is that acceptable?
Ma'am, like I said, my employment was changed during the time. I don't understand where the government's coming from. I'll present my defense.
And one last follow-up.
What evidence do you have that they don't have? It's extensive.
I have plenty of evidence that we will now be sharing with the government in this case to make sure that I can defend myself.
Congressman, are you planning on running for re-election?
Yes, I am.
Do you think you'll win re-election?
Anybody believe you now?
Well, like I said, I will prove myself innocent, and then we'll move from there.
Congressman, did you take
very hard time away?
Congressman, did you take?
I'm sorry for blocking the $750,000. They said that you reported that wrongly. Do you have any comment to that?
Well, like I said, I will be giving them all. Will be delivering all the finances of my company. I'm delivering all my finances to them to dispel their accusation.
Congressman,
and again, you will not resign.
I will not resign.
Congressman, did you take campaign donations and use that money to buy expensive suits?
No, I did not.
Do you think you'll win re-election?
That's not up for me to know. Elections are very tricky, and it's up to the people. I trust them to decide what's best.
Congressman, you admitted to lying in the past. What do you think will make people believe you this time around?
Well, look, like I said, I've asked many times. I want to be judged by the work I do in the body, and I stay committed to that.
Washington now.
Yes, I am. I have to go back and vote. Tomorrow we have one of those consequential votes in this Congress, which is a border bill, and I'm very looking forward to being there to vote on it.
Right now.
Well, I'm not going to address just the speaker. I'll address leadership. I appreciate everybody's patience with my presence in Congress. As you know, the media has its ways of doing things, and I respect you guys. I've maintained good rapport with a lot of you guys. I've spoken with a lot of you guys, and I have the intention to continuing that open door. Some of you who are from the Hill know how to find me. Some of you here from the district don't have a hard time finding me. It's about keeping in line of communication. So I appreciate leadership for being patient at this time and for allowing the process to play out. I think this is about innocent until proven guilty. This starts. I have my right to fight to prove my innocence, as the government has the right to fight to try to find me guilty in whatever charges.
You haven't shown any documents to prove your innocence until now, because
being accused for a long time.
Well, because the media is not jury or the judge. So I will present that to the jurist and to the judge in this courthouse.
And to the Congress.
Well, if Congress requests it, I will present it to them as well.
So are you negotiate a plea?
I'm feeling, look, it's hard.
Look at the yes, thank you.
I'm addressing one of your colleagues here. I don't want to give the back of.
Here are the cameras.
So, as usual, Jody, I do my best to be a positive person. Life is already as bad as it gets out there. So I'm fine.
You
I'm
believe
good.
you're innocent.
I believe I'm innocent.
How can you try to defend yourself with so many investigations and accusations?
Well, look, the way I look at it, I'll be a chairman of a committee in a couple of years if you just look at the standards of Congress. Look at the Senate.
Help states recoup COVID money, yet you're being alleged that.
Well, it's alleged, right? So are you accusing me, or are you going to allow the process to play itself and allow me to clear my name? That's my question.
But Congressman, did you ever accept any unemployment money?
About the charges against you, and also can you talk about the process of selection? They arrest you.
No, it was very amicable, very peaceful. These guys did a phenomenal job. We clearly came right under your noses, and you didn't see us come in today. And now we're leaving. Obviously, we're addressing you guys. Had all the intention of the world to be out here with you guys. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep fighting for what I believe in. I'm going to keep fighting to represent my district. I'm going to keep fighting to deliver results. And now I have to keep fighting to deliver, to defend my innocence. And I'm going to do that.
Did you ever accept any unemployment money?
Governor Hochul today said you should resign and put your district out of its misery. Will you do that?
Governor Hochul is entitled to her opinion. I don't represent her. She is not my constituent. So
I saw your face at court today. I saw your face. You looked. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You looked pretty stressed. When I saw you sit down and the judge first started speaking, what was going through your mind? What are you feeling after being in court today?
Well, when it's your first time in experiencing something of this nature, I think everybody would show some kind of stress, right? I quite frankly don't believe I was stressed. I did the best I could to just keep my composure. I was fine. But again, this has been an experience, for a book or something like that. So anyway, I appreciate you guys. Here's what we'll do. I will. You see, that is information you'll never get because that is the media's. Your intention is to go harass them and make their life miserable. You're not getting that. All right.
Guess somebody wanted to know who paid his $500,000 bail. I don't know. Anyway, according to Michael, he wants this stated. What was Santos' real crime? Tricking wealthy donors that they are giving money to someone else. This is what Santos is really being prosecuted for. Business Insider. George Santos' campaign paid staffer nearly $100K to pretend to be Kevin McCarthy's chief of staff and get money from donors. He's a just bona fide crook. Lee Grant says Santos doesn't represent all Republicans anymore than he represents all Hispanics. I think he represents a large percentage of the current tonality of the Republican Party. Paul Fleming says from racism to fraud to insurrection to rape, classified documents, and any other corruption that occurs, the Republican Party is all for it. It keeps them in power. Mantienen poder con eso. I hear you, brother. E2247 says, stop calling Santos congressman. He ain't fit the Congress. He ain't a man instead of a sniveling toddler. His districts want him out, says Bridge MCP. Carl Cox says, right on, Bridge. And then E2247 comes back. What a fraud. Linda Harkless Wells says, replying to Politics Done Right, a book. Ha ha. Did you hear that, Linda? He said he's going to turn this into a book. Well, Linda, you can look at it this way. He's going to have a lot of time while he's incarcerated to write that book. Carl Cox says, enough, Egberto. Stop showing the fruitcakes press conference. Hey, dude, got to do what I got to do. Eric Hayes says, Egberto, he does not represent most of anything. Really? I think George Santos makes a better Trump. I think he's so much more articulate than Trump. He controls the media much better than Trump could. I think he's pretty good. Alistair Waters says, a Lifetime Network movie is what he's going to do. That's what he's going to do. Wow. I think, Alistair, you nailed it. Welcome aboard, Alistair. Hadn't seen you upstairs before, my dear. Are you upstairs in the chat? I don't see you there, but I saw you then. What did I miss? Did I miss anything from anybody going forward? I don't think I did, but I have one more. Uno más para ustedes. This one here is Bloomberg and his opinion on after Trump got his guilty plea. I wanted to check this out because I had quite a bit of a narrative with this one earlier this morning at KPFT. So check this out, then we'll take it on the other side. Bloomberg columnist on Trump's verdict. He's a loser, is what he said. Bloomberg's opinion columnist Tim O'Brien did not mince his words. He pointed out that Donald Trump is a loser. He said that now that a jury of his peers has looked at the allegations and ruled against him, it makes his machinations moot. In other words, Trump goes out there, she's lying, all of that. Well, you know what? We had a jury. And while juries don't necessarily always get it right, when you have this sort of unanimity, I tell you, this was pretty severe on Trump's side. So nothing he says right now will correct. And for those out there who are still holding firm to believe that this guy walks on water, to believe that this guy did something for our country, to believe that this guy would somehow make the economy have a better economy than what Biden or anybody else has. I hope you understand what you're doing. There are too many people out there that for spite, for ideology, for saying I am a Republican or I'm a conservative or I'm this or whatever, you just cling on to somebody like Donald Trump. Deep inside, deep inside, the guy's a charlatan. The guy is lying to you. The guy doesn't mean well. The guy isn't even a billion. All these things. But sometimes the way we are, it's like just because we can't go back on all the bad decisions we've made, the gullibility that we've had, we decide that we can't. Well, I'm going to tell you something from a personal standpoint. I've been gullible many a times in my life. I've been wrong many a times in my life. And the most refreshing thing that one can, the most refreshing place one can get to is when one realizes, and I'm talking from experience, to come out and say, God, I was wrong. I am going to do better. I am going to change. What that does for one's soul, for one's humanity, you would not imagine. So to which I tell all folks who listen to the program, folks who are here, I always say the one thing. It's not, there's no shame in having made the wrong decision. There isn't any shame in having voted incorrectly. There's no shame there. The shame is after realizing you've made a mistake for the sake of egotism, for the sake of not wanting to say I screwed up, to keep doing the wrong thing. And too often in America, that's where too many of us are. We just can't say I was wrong, or, I just screwed up, or I was gullible. I have admitted that on air and elsewhere. I was ignorant 3 decades ago or a little bit more on the LGBTQ issue. I was ignorant. I was wrong several years ago on my chauvinism, my sexism, and I made the decision to change and do the right thing and change my voting patterns accordingly as well, right? And you know how refreshing it feels when one can go out and shout to the world, hey, I was wrong, man, but man, I see the light. It was just like after getting the surgery on my eyes, I could see there's no more clouds. I can see the happiness that comes from that and the humility as well that comes with that. Folks, it ain't hard to do that. It ain't hard to do that. But anyway, so going back, Bloomberg columnist, I love the way he expressed himself on Trump here. I want you to listen to this, and then, as usual, we'll take it on the other side.
He is a loser in this case. I don't think he feels any shame or regret. He's incapable of that. He's a deeply damaged man who doesn't feel regret. But he is a loser here. And there's a jury verdict hanging over this. It's no longer someone else's allegations. It's no longer someone else's claims. It's a court case in which he was found guilty as charged.
He's a loser here, just like he was in the last presidential election. And the question is, Tim, are Republicans starting to realize that? I want to share some voices that we heard from today, Republicans on the Hill, their reaction. Yeah. Watch this.
So what's your reaction to President Trump being found liable in the Eugene Carroll case?
I hope the jury of the American people reach the same conclusion about Donald Trump. He just is not suited to be president of the United States.
Senator Risch, can I ask you about this news about Donald Trump being indicted, or charged? If you're going to throw support behind a 2024 presidential candidate, does this verdict reached today have any impact on that decision?
It doesn't. I'm going to stay neutral.
I think it's a factor that gets to his electability. It's not a disqualifier, to Manu's point, at this point, but it's certainly not a check in the plus column.
Does it seem, I know I've asked this before, I know there's been countless scandals, and I've said, are Republicans going to turn on him? And that hasn't been the case. But does it seem like some Republicans could realize that this verdict is not ideal for a 2024 candidate?
Well, Republicans like Mitt Romney, but the fact is that
Mitt Romney's always felt this way.
And my point is that, Lindsey Graham came out in defense of him. I think most Republicans will say Donald Trump was unfairly accused. And he's being unfairly targeted because he's trying to take down the administrative state, and he's looking after the interests of Americans in the heartland. And these are just libs out to get him. But the reality of it is the party of law and order is making excuses for one of the most criminally negligent person to ever occupy the White House. And they don't have the integrity or courage to stand up with him or against him, because he still has a sway over about 30% of the Republican base. And that makes him a power play in the primaries, but it doesn't get him a national win as president. And that's the bind the Republicans are in. They don't want to go against him because the political reality is difficult for them in the primaries.
That is so true. They don't want to go against him because of the primaries. Why about, you know what I sit back and say all of the times? Why is it that these guys aren't leading, right? In other words, a lot of these Republican candidates, these Republicans, politicians, they know better. They know that it's not only that Trump is toxic. They know that he's bad for the country. They know all these things. But Trump has usurped what Trump has done is he's done the back way and gone directly to his audience, right? And instead of these people leading, instead of these people saying, let's go ahead and take a leadership role in informing our constituency, what they do is the easiest thing, and that is, well, all the people, they like Trump. I am not going to take the risk and speak out against Trump because they're going to get mad at me. And if they get mad at me, I lose. No courage. Leadership requires you sometimes to take the spears. And, you're so better rewarded after folks say, oh, he is a leader. He was able to do this before we did because he saw the light before we did. We definitely want him leading. And I think that is where folks believe it or not, super conservative Liz Cheney and others, I think that is where people like her are going to create the rebirth of their party at some time. We spend a lot of time. The rebirth of her party at some time. And of course, Breach brings out something. Here is, anybody remembers this? Second only to Jesus, Donald Trump. That is the guy folks think a large percentage of the population, maybe 35 or 40% think should make it into the presidency. Paul Fleming says, Mr. Willis doesn't feel like he's right about everything. He just brings you the facts on everything. Know the difference. Doesn't seem, let's see who we're talking about again. We're talking about Mr. Bloomberg, I think it's who you're talking about. Or anyway, let me know. I'm not sure I follow that completely, my dear brother Paul Fleming. Breach says Donald Trump shares Truth Social photo proclaiming, and that's a photo that I have on the screen from the one and only Donald Trump, the one and only Donald Trump. Carl Cox thinks the party is full of fruitcakes. No, it's about money, though, Carl. But hey, Paul Fleming says this was a SHT not worth the energy. He'll write his book from jail. Yeah, I agree. Carl Cox says Eric Higgs keep drinking the poison Kool-Aid. Keep it up, and it'll kill him. Eric, I'll save you, Eric. I'll save you, Eric. Egberto, don't you profess to be a progressive and proud of it, but you would bash the opposition party being just as proud? Why? Because you think you are right. No, there are certain things that are not up for debate. That's why, sir. Water is always H2O. Regular water is H2O. Heavy water H3O. Come on, we know. I mean, H2O2. Come on now. Tom C says, will Kevin McCarthy call on George Santos to resign? No. Don't hold your breath. The Speaker of the House needs every GOP vote to block raising the debt ceiling and thereby own the libs and crash the U.S. economy. H2O2 is peroxide. H2O2 is peroxide. What I meant is deuterium, I think, is that the extra, it has an extra neutron in the molecule. I forgot how you represent it. My bad, but I forgot how you represent heavy water as... let me look it up. I'm here on the screen with you guys. I can look up heavy water right here, right? Let's see what heavy water is. What's the formula for? Is it safe to drink heavy water? Extremely toxic to health if consumed in large quantity. D2O2. Okay, I got it. It's D2O2. D2 means deuterium. D2O2 means deuterium. That's right. And deuterium, I think, is just the oxygen molecule with an extra neutron or something like that. All right, Lee Grant says, truth be told, water is H3O and HO negative. Robert Davenport says, Trump indicted, Santos indicted, Clarence Thomas, Jim Jordan, Mark Meadows. Thank you so kindly for that super chat, Robert Davenport. Anybody else wants to join Davenport to keep us afloat? Thank you so kindly for your super chat. We simply couldn't do it without you. And I'm glad you put that super chat there at 3:56 because I need to be doing my ask. For the last few days, I don't think I did an ask, but I must now. Folks, please consider supporting Politics Done Right. How can you support Politics Done Right? As a brother Rob Davenport would tell you all of the times, go buy the books. That helps us out, and you learn a lot from the books that we have out there. Here you go. politicsdoneright.com/books is how you can pick up our books. You can become a patron. How do you become a patron? You go to politicsdoneright.com/Patreon and become one of our many patrons. We need a lot of patrons. We're not close to where we need to be to help me cut videos and do all these difficult things. As well, you can subscribe to our YouTube. Just go ahead and click that join button on YouTube. Become a part of our YouTube PDR Posse. As well as you can support us at PayPal, politicsdoneright.com/PayPal, politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. And you see, Robert Davenport just said it again. The books are great. Come on, check it out, guys. And you can find all the different ways to support us, folks, by going to politicsdoneright.com/support. It seems like I'm in two fund drives right now, one for KPFT and one for Politics Done Right on the internet. Paul Fleming Sr. says, comment was in reply to someone else saying that you think you're always right. Thank you very much for that defense, Paul Fleming. I couldn't do it without you. You know, it's not about being right. It's about being factual, like most of our folks here try to be most of the time. Some folks, well, try to be factual, not ever once of the time. In fact, well, we won't go there. We won't go there. Anyhow, was JC not well in that pick? As very white. I got you. Yvette Avery Herod says, me too, learned something today, LOL. We always try to be learned here. We educate each other. You know, I learn from you guys learn from each other. That is what it's all about, folks. Anyway, we're coming up to close to the end of the program, and I'm done presenting all that I have. I've got to go prepare my show for tomorrow morning. We're going to have some studio time. So let's see. Carl Cox says GOP doesn't believe in facts. E2247 says I am a chemistry geek. D2O and T2O are the correct formula. Deuterium for heavy water, and I think what is T2O? Is that with the 3 protons instead? Or I mean the 3, not protons, the 3 because the number of protons in a molecule, here comes my engineering background. The number of protons in a molecule determines what the element is. The variations are called isotopes. And isotopes are, the variation in isotopes come from the amount of neutrons in that particular molecule's nuclei, right? So anyhow, guys, you know what I was just doing there? Making sure that I still had a mind. That's what I was doing, making sure I still had a mind. So I know this isn't a chemistry class, but I just wanted to make sure that I remembered all my chemistry stuff. Anyhow, we got to get out of here. I want to thank you all for being here. Please support the show. I'm going to put the support link in there one more time. And Bruce reminds us that Trump is on CNN. I don't know that I want to watch Trump, but I probably should watch Trump, shouldn't I? And tape All In with Chris Hayes and watch Trump in real time. I probably should do that. You know, do everything so that you guys don't have to. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And my dear, beautiful people know exactly how I end this show. I am what? We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.